Rather beautiful head, rather large head. So an ideal thing to show how to hollow. So if I hand that to you and you can try and frame it so that you can see me doing the cut. So the first thing we do, we've got the armature, the normal sort of armature that we set up in there. And I'm just going to do a cut straight through like that. And then we can gently make a little incision there just to help lift it up. That will help show you which way round the lid goes on later. And take it off. Now, I'm going to start hollowing in there. If you see what I've got on this one, can you see the lid? I usually take a few bits out straight away and just make some small balls. To stand it on so you don't squash the top of the head. Alright, so now can you see in here? So we're going to start hollowing down through this area. Just draw the wire loop tool with a cutting end, draw it through the clay and pull out piece by piece, and you just keep going basically until you hit the armature. And when we get there we'll start doing show another video. So we've moved it off the stand to a slightly lower position so we can get on top of it.
The tool.
Yeah, that's the tool. Nice old tool with quite a sharp edge to it, so it cuts efficiently.
Look what's happening.
Yeah.
Do you need to get any cutting tools?
No, that's good. No. So we've gone down to, we can see the top of the armature now. And you've done the lid. Nice even thickness around. Well, with this one it's slightly thicker than a finger. You can see that, which is good because it's a big head, so you need to do that. You hold that a minute and try and show this bit. So you've got a nice little sharp tool here. So if you just cut into the plastic. Now there are wires. Now because you've had this on here for how long? It's been on the armature for several months. 3 months.
Yeah.
So did you see that I pulled the wires aside? Normally when it's been on for a long time, can you see this wire? Can you see the wire?
Yeah.
So just pull that over to one side. Sometimes if they've been on for a long time the wires rust right through, but you're alright. If you cut them you just have a nasty sharp wire knocking around in there that you could cut yourself with. So, so just cut through the plastic bag and it should reveal some balls of paper like this that you start to pull out. Now, normally I use 5 in the other versions I've shown. Don't show me. there are
nice whilst you were talking, but it all went blurry.
5 of these around your peg. So you pull them out. And now if you look over there, you'll see that now the peg is there, and with the paper removed, you can carry on hollowing around the peg until you free up as much. You hollow as much as you possibly can while it's on the peg.
Okay.
And then we take it off the peg, and it'll be light enough to stand up without the support of the armature there.
Okay. Can I just film the front of his face?
Yeah. There he is, headless. Well, lidless.
Paul will set it up and then you just have to hold it.
Right, so we've gone down around the peg as far as we can reasonably go. So now we need to get it off the peg. So if you could just hold that and keep pointing roughly so you can see what's happening.
From where?
Well, just look at that and
You've got
see
to just...
if you can show us what we're doing.
Where, do I go
running,
between you?
Fine.
Oh.
No, just see what you can get.
Oh, no, but you're in the way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much, just see what you can get.
All right. Oh dear.
You can push the lid down. Right, we've got the peg out. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm afraid that was
Well,
that won't
there's
get
the peg.
a butterflies, I'm afraid.
Oh no, there's the head. Not too much damage, I hope. There's the hole.
And the throat's still okay.
Throat's still okay, which is great.
Where it was closed.
And it doesn't feel like it's imminently going to fall down.
No.
So, but what I would do with this one, because it is such a big head, is I'd put a prop of clay under the chin.
Okay.
So the chin prop.
Yep.
And then we'll get to the next bit.
Is it worth putting it on a board straight away?
I wouldn't worry yet, because let's just get the rest of the weight out of the head. Now we've got most of the inside out, and then it is busy pricking the inside. So we've got a little kink in the wire, so we know what depth to prick to. Where are we? There we are. Yeah. And that's about the width of the. It's just short of, so there's nothing should be coming out from the outside. Except I can see evidence there of what looks like a couple of prickings.
Oh, where?
Just in the front, where you might have gone a bit too deep. Here,
Oh, goodness.
possibly, or is it?
Oh,
Oh no,
no,
they're
no,
just
no.
bits. No, they're just bits. But that's
No.
what it looks like if you go too far. Okay, here we are. We're all hollowed, beautifully pricked. Perhaps slightly more pricking than you have to do. Beautifully hollowed. We've still got the bit of the armature. There's the plastic bag and the wire there. Not very well focused. And this is a slip pot about to be. So you hold that. I'll show you what you do to make the slip. Put a bit of water in there, and you do that.
Does it
And we make some
automatically
slip.
focus?
Yeah, it should do. Yeah. So after a minute or something, we've got some nice muddy clay, and we call that slip. There you are. That's about right. Can you see it's nice and gloopy? And that's glue for clay. So we brush this on here. You'll notice that I don't scratch my joints.
Should you?
Well, if you've done pottery, you will quite often be told that you scratch that surface with a rough tool. Have you got one like that?
Does that increase the surface area
Well, it helps.
for
You know,
adhesion?
it can do, but I don't do that because if you've made a really accurate sculpture and you don't want to displace the joint, you don't want to make a mess of it, you don't want the sculpture to be affected, then it's enough to just sort of roughly work the goo on like that, give it a bit of scrub, and that softens the surface. I don't have any problems with the bond if we do that.
So you always do both sides?
Always do both sides, plenty of slip on each side. And really soften each surface with the slip as you do it. That should be enough. Now, we put the tool in the back. We made a little mark.
I slightly filled the hole in the back of the head.
There, was that the back?
Yes.
So, it's obvious because we've got a hairline. Some that you do, you might not have an obvious point where it joins. It is. You have a degree of slidability. Basically, you slip. Can you see where your prickings have gone a bit deep there?
Yes.
So you'll have to readjust those. And then you wiggle. Now you've got to be aware
Make
that...
sure that's absolutely in position.
Absolutely. And what I'm going to do is take the camera off you. So you can do a bit of that if you like.
Okay.
Actually, no, I won't, because let's stop it. So there's the joint. I know someone who was on it. And you just have to really work it carefully together. Stitch it, I always say. And then
Like
a bit more
this?
clay over the joint sometimes. It
Yeah.
never goes together, as it were, invisibly first time. So, but obviously you don't want it to come apart again. So that's why it's a good idea to do this before you've completely finished, because there's always a bit of collateral damage.
Do you want me to turn him? So he
it's all
lays
right.
on his back?
Yeah, that'd be good, actually. Yeah, that's exactly right. Which I think we might need to put this film, like that. So now we're going to lay him over. Now, if you just tipped him back, what you would do is that you'd damage the bottom edge there.
Okay.
So what you have to do,
hold
if you
this.
hold that, what we have to do with him,
Hang on, let me get. There you
is
go.
pick him up.
Yeah.
You feel away the plastic. The last bit of the remaining bit of the armature. And you twist. And that just pulls it. Right, so that's fine. You can see it's been in a long time because it's started to rust into the clay. Back the bin. Right. Where's your holding tools? Rolling again?
Yeah.
Right, so that's where your armature core was. You said you were a bit concerned about it being thin here,
Yes.
but actually that feels fine to me.
Okay.
But if you were worried, you could always at this stage build up a little bit more in there. There's a, okay. Mind you don't knock your ears actually. Now we're going to leave this area through
Yeah.
where the neck is as pillar, and we're just going to hollow a bit through here into this area. Not too much, because the other thing is it's a big head, and we want, in fact I wouldn't do any more than that on that side. And you almost don't need to do any, but just to reduce the thickness a little bit. And the rest of that is just pricking. You want a fair bit of weight in the shoulder because it's a big head and the shoulders aren't that enormous, so you want quite a lot of counterbalance weight there. So don't forget, if you're going to leave the clay thick, or even on the thick side, you just prick it more. Pricking is hollowing, pricking
Okay.
counts as hollowing, so that's all you need to do, tiny bit from
Just
there.
tidy that up.
But yeah, just tidy up the bottom, prick it like mad in the bottom, and then you're done.
And what about all these scores on the base?
They don't really matter, that's just where it's sat on the plastic.
So as long as
not
it's
structural.
pricked?
Exactly, as long as it's pricked. If there were any air trapped in any of these areas, as long as it's pricked through, that can vent, that's fine.
All right.
What next is, here we have your head. We're trying to catch up, we might have missed a few stages, but we've done some more modelling, you've done the hair, but now we're in the end game, so we've hollowed just either side. There's the centre where the peg was. Because this is a very big head, we're going to leave quite a lot of weight in the shoulders, and if you want to do that, and you don't want to hollow all that clay away, which wouldn't be a good idea, in this one, you prick it instead. So Renilla is now going to prick all over, like that. How far apart are your...
Well, how far up
Prickings.
do I go with... Yes, how far, is that far enough, or should I do more?
You go as deep as you can, and like I say, if you come through, if you did an area, there's that mark where I came through there, I think, that we mended.
And I can feel I've gone through into the cavity.
If you come through, you can just seal it over. As long as, well, yeah, okay, you did it then. So you leave that open. No, well, no, that one, yeah, that's
that's
okay.
where I
So
went
that's just a
through.
nick. But you leave it open to the base. It's always got to be open to the base. Yeah, and
Do I have to go right up into
No,
there?
that's how thick is that?
Oh, okay, so that's...
That's not the thickness. It's around the thickness of a finger. This.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you're going to do that a few times because that's what happens. Right. But you can. Another thing, if you hold this for a sec, what you can do is you can try and show this. You look where you're pricking, say there, and you hold your finger to the depth, and I'm going just up to the shoulder, and then if I go to my finger, I know I'm not going to go through. So at every
Okay.
point you can sort of judge the thickness like that, and then you don't go through.
oh, okay.
And you just want to be about a finger thick away from the surface, or less, and about a finger thick between your prickings, about 2 centimetres between each pricking. if
All
possible.
right.
And that way you know you've done everything you can to make it safe for the kiln. But you can prick any number of times in any number of ways. It doesn't hurt. It's all good because it vents the clay. All right.
Yes.
Next time we see him, he'll be standing up and ready for the kiln. Hope.
Good.